Chukwueze has one of my best celebrations of Nigerian players, where he just lifts his jersey up and is running. I like that celebration a lot. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Naija FC Podcast, where we talk about everything Nigerian football, unfiltered, and just giving you straight up as we see it. Of course, as always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have with me my reliable co-host.
Smith Layi, thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you are watching or listening to us from, we really appreciate you. And we have another exciting episode for you. Another interesting conversation, of course, surrounding Nigerian players. On this one, we want to talk about a number of Nigerian players who were in action over the past week. And then we'll wrap up with just, talk about what is one of the latest stories in Nigerian football at the moment. I won't talk about it now. You'll hear when we get there. So make sure you watch till the end. Smith Layi, this weekend was, another weekend of, I would say, some good performances and some not so good performances from Nigerian players. It took a little bit of a dip from the previous weeks where we had Nigerian players just on fire everywhere. It just looked go, 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 go. But there were still some people that stood out, and I think it's only fair that we talk about them. I'll start with women's football and talk about Chiamaka Nnadozie. Another game, another fantastic performance, another penalty save. She made a penalty save in her team's 4-0 victory over Gwynam. And honestly, I have not gone to check the stats. But when you look at the number of penalties that she has saved this season, it's like she's saving one penalty every 3 matches. We've spoken so much about this girl. We've praised her so much. But, what do you think about this performance? And I guess I'll ask you the question, what do you think she needs to do more for her to get global recognition? Because we Nigerians know how good she is. Africans know how good she is. But then when they're talking about world goalkeepers, they still don't mention her, the likes of FIFA and all those people. So what do you think about her performance, and what do you think she needs to do to earn that global recognition?
So for me, fantastic goalkeeper, and I think that it's just the media because based on her raw ability, I think Chiamaka Nnadozie, she's one of the best in female football. And the funniest thing is this: when she was named the best goalkeeper in Africa, she went to her club and she saved penalty again against Real Madrid, just to celebrate it, to tell you that she's really actually was the top goalkeeper. I think what she needs to actually do more. Maybe not her, but the team. I think the Falcons maybe just qualify for the semi-finals of this major tournament. If they qualify, maybe she can get that recognition or maybe a move to the big league. I know French league is very good, with due respect. Maybe, you move into a team like Leon is still very good, just move on to a team that normally play the semi-finals of the Women's Champions League on a regular basis. Then I think that a lot of media people will actually would take note of her ability. For me, she's a very, very good goalkeeper, and I think that we are lucky to have her. And there's one thing too. I think God will even bless Nigeria with her. Honestly, I have to be honest with you. I think she's the best in the history of Nigeria as a goalkeeper.
And I mean, I would have to agree with you. Honestly, the kind of numbers that she's pulling up, the kind of performances that she's pulling up, even though I'm relatively young, but I have to say she's the best that I've seen for sure. And I've watched some of the past goalkeepers, and I'm sure most of them would even accept it and admit it that she's so good, But again, like you said, for that global recognition, I mean, media obviously is a big part of it, but I think she needs to just play, like you said, play at a bigger club. And it's not to say that she should just jump ship and leave Paris FC. Paris FC is a growing team. I mean, they qualify for the Champions League this season. They are competing in their league more and more each year. But the reality of it is that they are still in the shadow of Lyon, PSG in France. And when you look at the world, obviously teams like Bassey, teams like Bayern, teams like Wolfsburg, they would always come ahead of that. Teams like Chelsea, teams like Arsenal, Man City, they will still have that reputation. If she was doing all these things that she's doing now in the WSL in England, they'll be talking about
Mm-hmm.
her like so much. We know how the press go crazy in England, you know. So at the end of the day, she needs to find a bigger stage to perform. It's like you can be the best singer in the world. If you only sing for your family, nobody's going to know how good you are. You have
Mm-hmm.
to go out there, you have to put your music out, let other people hear your voice. And that's kind of what's happening to her. She played at the World Cup, she was good at the World Cup, but like you hinted at, Nigeria only reaching the round of 16 probably cut short the kind of plaudits that she would have gotten. Because if
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria had reached the semi-final of the World Cup, they would have had to acknowledge how good she was. Because at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, was it not Mary Earps that they were congratulating as
Mm-hmm.
top goalkeeper? So
Mm-hmm.
these things matter, and for her sake, for the sake of her growth, for the sake of her recognition and her getting the plaudits that I think she deserves, that's one of the main reasons why Super Falcons need to qualify for the Olympics, and they need to go to the Olympics and do well. Because obviously, if she can come back home as an Olympic gold medalist or even a silver medalist at the very least, it will add to her flowers. Because we already know it. We know that Chiamaka is going to do well. She's one of those players that you don't question the kind of performance that you're going to get from her. She's not going to just make mistakes. She's going to be secure and go. And again, another fantastic performance over the weekend. And I wish her all the best. I hope that things continue to go in the right direction for her. Moving on quickly, let's talk about the other Super Falcons player that we have on this list. And that is Asisat Oshoala. Asisat Oshoala, when she made the move to BFC in the United States, we spoke about her on this podcast. And I said, like, for me, it was like a match made in heaven because of the branding opportunities, the marketing opportunities, the sponsorship. She likes the superstar life. She's living in San Francisco. She's always been a fan of the US sports. So I just thought it was a fantastic thing for her. And obviously, she's at the tail end of her career. So it's another chance for her to make money and just enter a new market. And she made history. You know, whether somebody thinks is relevant history or is not so relevant history, she made history scoring the first goal in the history of Bay Football Club. A new club that just joined the NWSL. They played their opening fixture away from home against Angel City FC, and Oshoala scored with a fine finish. I have to add that. If you haven't seen the goal, go check it out. It was actually quite a fine finish. They won the game 1-0. Oshoala is in the record books as the first goal scorer in the club's history. And, it looks like a team that, with the recruitment that they made, with the kind of ownership that they have, the kind of funds that are being pumped into the club, it looks like a team that can potentially make a wave, in the United States league for a couple years. So very interested in seeing how it develops for her. But for right now, I'm just saying congratulations, Asisat Oshoala. New chapter, new journey. If there's one thing we know that Oshoala does, Oshoala scores goals. And hopefully she can continue to score goals like this. She's the greatest of all time, but this is another opportunity for her to add to her legacy in a new continent, in a new land. And hopefully she can conquer USA, because the other players that we've had in the USA have not really lit it up like that. Even Michelle Alozie, that gets a lot of credit from Nigerian fans, mostly because she's fine, but also because of the work that she does on the field. Michelle is not a star in the USA. It's just the reality of it. With the other players, Onumonu is not a star in the USA. Kano is not a star in the USA. But Oshoala has an opportunity to become a star in the USA, and I hope it works out for her. But yeah, what do you think about her goal and the history that she made?
I followed, how the event actually was turned out, for her. When they were posting on their social medias and everything, I saw that. I was following. My mind was telling me that she will do something today. She's someone that likes to hug the headline. She likes to hug the headline. She wants to be there. She wants to be the star girl. And when I saw that picture, I didn't watch the game actually. When I saw the picture that, it's now Australia that scored the first ever goal, I wasn't surprised. And kudos to her, because she's still showing that she's the star girl of Nigerian football. So I'm really actually happy for her. Now, she's played in Europe, she played in Asia, she played in Africa, where else again? She's playing in USA now. Maybe the next time she's going to play in Brazil to cap it up. then they go to Antarctica. I mean, I don't know, maybe there is
Australia.
but so, but kudos to a fantastic player, and I'm also happy that she's getting game time now because truth was said, when she came against Cameroon, she was slightly match rusty, maybe because the league is not on, but now she's now acting fast, like she's now fitter. So I just think that it's going to really help us against South Africa, because you mentioned the Olympic qualifier. In fact, it's the most important game for them this year. I have to be honest with you, and they have to do the job. So let me just to say more about that. We have a good goalkeeper now, and I think that she deserves to be at the Olympics, just to make sure, just to stamp her authority. Because if you look at the team that qualified for the Olympics now, so they're only waiting for Africa, you can see the giants of the game. It's going to be very interesting. It's not, there's no minnows there anymore. It's the giants, because it's only 12 teams that's
Yep.
going to be at the Olympics. So it's the giants of the game now. So, we as in Nigeria deserve to be there. And also, it's only Toshiko Olui that has played at the Olympics before. No player has played at the Olympics before, only Toshiko Olui. So, and she's not even a regular in that team anymore. So I just think that a majority of them now, they have chance to actually write their name in history. I also think that Oshoala going to this USA will really, really push those girls further too. And about the star, I also want her to actually to stamp her authority and be the star girl in that country too. That's it.
Amazing, very well said. And we look forward to our Olympic qualifiers. I'm sure we'll have an episode where we'll talk about it when the time
Yeah.
is getting closer. Okay,
Yeah.
let's now transition to. Okay, actually, before I transition, I'll just give a shout out to Anam Imo. She scored a goal this past weekend. Feti Kidi had a decent game, for Pitia. Jennifer Echegini also scored a goal this past weekend. Uchenna Kanu also scored a goal this past weekend, just to highlight a few other Super Falcons players. But let's now transition to the men. We have a few players that we've listed out that we want to talk about and just give them due credit. And I'll start with Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi. Iwobi, since he received the insults
Sorry,
and
before you transition, I just want to ask you a question.
okay.
The Saudi League, if a
Sorry,
defender is
Ashley Plumptre also scored a goal. Yes.
if a defender
So that's how the league. That's the reason why I forgot, because the numbers don't even make sense. I've been trying to watch their games. I'll admit this. I haven't been able to watch the games because there's no way for me to watch it. And even online, if you look at all the apps that track sports and track football results and everything,
Mhm.
most of the time they don't have information on the match. Maybe they just have the final score and the names of the goal scorers. But it doesn't really, with all, I don't know. I've interviewed Ashleigh, and she's spoken about the reasons why she plays football. But it, it's not her level, man. It's not her level. Like she's so good for that league. She's a defender that is, I think, third highest goal scorer in the league. She has
Mhm.
scored 7 or 8 goals in how many matches? Like, it's just not her level. But still, there's some people that go to a lower level and they
Mhm.
drop to the level that they go to. Some people
Mhm.
go to a lower level and then they shine in that level. I'm
Yeah.
happy that at least she's shining. She didn't go
Mhm.
there and just be average. She's going
Yeah.
there and she's one of their best players. So
Yeah.
very interesting, but I haven't really been able to watch her games. I haven't really been able to see much. I think this
Mhm.
weekend they won 8. Was it 8-2 or something? I know it was some crazy scoreline that they won. But yeah, Ashley Plumptre.
Mhm. Yeah. Just want to just want to acknowledge
No, yeah.
but
Thank you for calling
that
me.
top scorer be you know kudos to a fantastic player.
Mm. Okay. Now let's transition to the men. Just to highlight some of the men that also had good performances. We can't talk about all of them, but we picked out a few of them that we think are worthy of kudos. And like I was saying, I'll start with Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi. Iwobi, since he got all those insults from Nigerian fans, since the backlash after we lost the AFCON final, and he went back to Fulham, Iwobi has just been playing at a very, very high level. And there are a few things to note. That's what happens when you play a player in the rightful position. That's what happens when a player is playing with freedom, freedom to express themselves, freedom to do what they know that they can do. And that's
Mhm.
also what happens when a player is playing in a team that everybody is working for each other and knows what they are supposed to do. You see Alex Iwobi shining like this. It's not a coincidence to me that he's performing this well. He's also at an age where we expect him to be playing his best football. At this age,
Mhm.
27, 28 is when we expect him to be playing your best football. And I'm really happy that he's living up to performances. The other week, he had 7 chances created in a game, which was a Premier League record for the season. This past weekend, he had 4 chances created. Fulham, of course, won 3-0 against Tottenham. I don't think anybody was expecting that result. I thought Tottenham would probably win like 2-1, maybe 3-1.
Mhm.
And the way Fulham actually beat them in that game was very nice to see. And then Calvin Bassey, not as
Mhm.
impressive as he will be, in my opinion, in that match. He had a few moments where he did well, but I guess you will say maybe he had less work to do than he will be during the game. But still, when he was called upon, he did what he was supposed to do. So you give him his credit as well. What did you think of that performance from the two players in their win against us?
When I saw Alex Iwobi creating opportunity upon opportunity, trying to get the through ball from the right hand side of the attack, I was wondering that what was Jose Pacero thinking? When
Mm,
if Alex Iwobi could do this, why not Iwobi or Osimhen Lukman combination up front? You know,
mm,
and we can see but that's past now. I'm happy that Iwobi, the insults with those that did not even know anything about football, they insulted him, but I think that he's not even thinking about that again. He's back to his best. He's even
yep.
doing better. In fact, I'm not to mistaken. It's one of the best attacking midfielders this season. If you look at the numbers, the opportunities he has created in the Premier League, I can tell you that he's one of the most underrated players currently in the English Premier League. And
Mm,
outside the top 10, he's probably one of the best, honestly.
mm,
So I just think that, he's coming to his best. And I'm also happy that we have a defender playing in the top 5 league, in European football, at
mm,
Calvin Bassey. And at the age of 23, 24, he's playing regularly and he's also partnering a potential super ego player so that they are very So, it makes me happy for Calvin Bassey. And if you look at it, since Calvin Bassey came back from that wonderful run in AFCON, he's now even a better player. All
mm,
those rough tackles, all those things you don't see, it's more calm. It's like a gentle. It reminds me of the legend himself, Taribo West.
mm,
He's very strong on the ball and everything. So I think Fulham is just a stepping stone for him. I think a very good better season. I think a team like Spurs can actually come for him, and
mm,
he's going to be very good for his career.
mm. Well said, well said. Let us see how that goes with Calvin Bassey's progression. Okay, let us now just move forward. We'll travel to Turkey very quickly. Ibrahim Olawoyin, another game, another good performance, scored a goal for his club, Keka Rizespor. In their, I believe it was a 3-1 victory. And they played against, forgive me if I get this wrong, I believe they played against Gaziantep, and he won 3-1. They won 3-1, he scored a goal. Another good performance from Ibrahim Olawoyin. This is a player that a lot of people have been talking of. A lot of people have been talking about. You know, a lot of people have been asking questions about him. I know people send me DMs all the time asking me about him. What does he need to do to make it into the national team? Yes, we understand he's not playing in a big league. He plays in Turkey, but the Super Eagles always seem to be thin in numbers when it comes to midfielders, especially when it comes to attacking midfielders. He's playing in the same league with
Mm-hmm.
Efisayodele Bashiru, who is also getting called up and who also had a goal and assist this weekend in the Turkish league. But Bashiru has been seen, has been invited. Ibrahim hasn't been seen and hasn't been invited, or maybe he's been seen but not been invited. In your opinion, Smith, like, what do you think he needs to do to make it into the Super Eagles, or do you think it's just about being patient?
Uh, I have to be honest with you. For you to, for us to make a case for you in that Super Eagles midfield, you must be better than those that are playing there.
Mm.
Those that are playing there currently now, with due respect, they play in a more competitive league than him. You know, Frank Onyeka of this world, with due respect to the legend himself. I won't call him the legend, actually, Wilfred Ndidi, the captain of the team. He has played in the Champions League before. He has played, he's not a newbie to European football.
Yeah.
Someone like Alassane Yusuf, remember he was playing against Barcelona and he even scored, in one of the Champions League games. So, they have played big games before. I think his next step now is for him to make a move.
Mm.
I don't know if I have to be honest with you. It's for him to assure to make a move. We have seen players like Eri Onyekuru play very well in the Turkish league. And when they come to the Super Eagles, it did not work out well. We've seen a lot of players playing in Turkish league that when they actually come to Super Eagles, though I don't want to talk about Anthony Wakeme, but he also when he was brought into, he doesn't know, things did not really actually was even go well for him, despite he only played one game. So, in my opinion, I just think that Olawoyin needs a move to a better league to test his skills. That is it. You cannot. I don't think you can actually compare the Turkish league to some of the leagues that these guys actually playing, with due respect. I think that Olawoyin actually needs, because I saw him driving with the ball and they were following him at the back. So I was like,
let me ask this question, and I hear you. I agree with you on, when you compare him to the Onyekas, the Ndidis, the Onyedikas, the Alasans. I understand that, I agree. But where I would challenge is Dele Bashiru. Plays in the same league. I will agree that Dele Bashiru is probably having a better season. If you look at statistics, you look at performances, Dele Bashiru is having a better season. But obviously, Dele Bashiru is not. He doesn't have a secured spot in the team, of course not. But he has been invited for more than 2 friendlies now to come and just try and show what he can offer. Do you think Olawoyin can also, is there any reason why Olawoyin can also not get that kind of opportunity? Even if it's a friendly, obviously it can't be this window. Next window is World Cup qualifiers. But even if it's friendly window, can't he just get opportunity of, okay, bro, we've been seeing what you've been doing for the past few months. Come for this friendly. Let us just see if you even have what it takes.
In my opinion, I think that Dele Bashiru did not deserve to be called up. So if we now say that it's two wrongs, we cannot put them together to make it right. So for me, I don't think that Bashiru deserves to be called up. I see a lot of flaws in this game. That's why I was praying that move to Lecce maybe would have worked out for him to the Serie A, and let him come and test himself in a very competitive Italian league. So for me too, I don't think he deserves to be called up. I don't think so. But Olawoyin is not that a good player. I think that he has proved himself in the league before. And I also just think that if it's a move to France, if it's Rodlyon, Nance, it shouldn't be a bad. At least if you have a good agent with that type of form this season, all those Lorient, all those Getafe, Levante, they can actually they can get you there now if you have a very solid agent. So that's my opinion.
No, I hear you. Okay, that's that on Ibrahim Olawoyin. Ibrahim, if you are watching, listen to Smith Layi. Maybe you need to make a move. Okay, let's move forward and talk about Chuba Akpom. Again, another player that has been, available for the Super Eagles, but not being selected for the Super Eagles. Of course, we always have to talk about the season that he had last year with Middlesbrough. Championship player of the season, top goal scorer, amazing, playing from a number 10 or number 8 role, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, this season with Ajax, it has been, very wavy, up, down, up, down, up, down. Ajax have been struggling, but this past weekend, he was able to come off the bench, get an assist, and then get a goal. they came back from 2-0 down to draw the game 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
People started asking questions again. I saw it
Mm-hmm.
on our social media. Why has this boy never been caught up? Why has he never been caught up? In your opinion, do you think Akpom is worthy of a Super Eagles call up?
You know, his season with Ayers has been like up and down, as you actually described it. And everything was down to the unstable nature of Ayers this season. One manager go, manager call, one guy buy you, the sack him next time. They wanted to bring a 15-year-old from the academy to come and play your position. They are losing. They want to protect identity, the arrogance of the Ayers people. You know, what I can say basically is this. I think Akpom deserves to be called up. But I think when Pasero should have called him up, that was the game against San Marino. No, not San Marino, Sao Tome. San Tome and Principe also, I think there was one game that he was fit that he meant to actually call him up, but he didn't call him up. What I would just say basically is this. I think he deserves to be called up. He's a good player and he plays for hires. And when he comes, he will make impact. But next game, they will not start him. They will go and start Broberry. I don't know, maybe it's Robbery or Broberry. Robbery, it will be chasing players, and I don't know what that one is playing. But I just think that he deserves to be called up. And I think the manager in Ayers is extremely unfair to him. I think he's going to get his chance. Now that the Super Eagles is going to get a new handler, he's going to get his chance. At least he's going to get his chance. I know that. I know that combination of him and Alex Iwobi can do something for Nigeria.
Okay, two Arsenal boys potentially combining for the Super Eagles in the future. Let us see how that goes. I think, let me just to chip in my own opinion very quickly. I think he deserved it in the past. When he was balling for Middlesbrough, everything. That was when I was like, they need to call this boy up. Let us just see what he can offer to the team. This season hasn't been going so well, so it's hard for you to make a case for him as much as you could do before. But he didn't forget how to play ball. He still knows how to play football. He's still a quality player. Like you said, if they give him more chances at Ajax, he'll probably do better and score more goals. For whatever reason, they don't have full faith in him. I don't know what it is. But congratulations to him on his goal and assist this past weekend. And hopefully he continues to perform at that level. Okay, let's move on. Another player that was left out of the Super Eagles squad, of course, was part of the AFCON, but left out of the latest squad is Terem Moffi. Moffi this past weekend playing for OGC Nice against RC Lens. He scored 2 goals. One was from the penalty, one was from open play, and he had a fantastic performance. He should have got an assist. I don't know if you watched that game. I did. There was the person that assisted him for his first goal, that was an easy tap-in. He also had an opportunity and he passed it to that guy. What should have been an easy finish for that guy too? The guy skied it. Like Moffi, all those 2-on-1 where is 2 people and goalkeeper, and Moffi just passed it sideways to him. We are finished. My guy skied it. So Moffi should really have had 2 goals and 1 assist. But it was a fine performance. OGC Nice really needed the results to turn their bad form around. I'm playing against RC Lens. Lens is not the strongest side, but they're a good team. And for them to have been able to get that win, hopefully from here the club can continue to put in good performances and get a few more wins on the bounce. But what do you think about Moffi's performance this past weekend?
So for me, he's a player, and though what we have to be honest about is that he's also not be consistent too. When he wants to score, he's gonna rush the goals in. The next weekend, he can go quiet for like 3 weeks. When he wants to come into, especially PSG, if it's PSG that is coming to
Monaco.
Monaco, PSG, Monaco. Terem Moffi is ready for them. So, that's not a consistency, but I just think that he's a player that he just needs extra motivation to actually do well. He did extremely well this last weekend. And I don't know why he wasn't included in the national team, but this performance, he was fantastic player, and I think that it's a player that we should not, you know, really ignore in national team because clearly he has something to offer for Nigeria. So I was really pleased with his performance, and though with the way this is a went, I expect him to stay in Nice again next season because I don't think, except a club saw something special in him and say, okay, come on, we want to bring him to the Premier League. But I don't think it's more likely that it's going to actually want to be made in OGC Nice and actually what, cement. Because I think the deal is that between the Lorient and them, there's obligation to buy.
Yeah.
After the loan, there's obligation to buy. So that is it. So I think that he's going to stay one more season. Maybe he can do well. I don't know how many goals he has scored this season, but I just think that there's still going to be one more goal, one more listed for him.
And just on his goals, he now has 9 League On goals this season.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
pretty good return. Last season, I believe he scored 6 goals and 3 assists. This season, he has 9 goals and 2 assists. But last season, he only played 60 matches for Nice.
Yes.
And he had 12 matches for Lorient last season. 12 goals for Lorient last season and then 6 for Nice. So 18 in total. This season, he has 9 goals. He probably is not going to reach 18, if I'm being honest. But still, it's been decent for Nice. And let's see what happens for him. I think I would agree with you that he's probably going to remain, especially when they're just about to pay the fee. They've never paid the fee yet. I don't think they will pay the fee and sell him immediately unless they get like a crazy offer. So probably stay in Nice again. The only thing that I always say that I find very interesting is that the performance that Osimhen had for Lille, that Osimhen used to get his move from Lille to Napoli. That last season I had at Lille, Moffi has had better seasons than that in France.
Yeah.
But he hasn't got that bumper move. So it's very interesting. Obviously scouts are watching all sorts of different things. I don't know exactly what they're looking at, but I just find it interesting that Osimhen was able to score 13 goals and get a move. Somebody has scored 19 goals, he has scored this thing, and he has not been able to get a big move. But maybe he's on the cards. Everybody's race is different. I always like to say that. So wishing Moffi all the best, and hopefully his big move, comes for him in the not too distant future. And just to wrap up on performances over this past weekend, we'll end with a player that we criticized him a bit in the past few weeks. We've spoken about how he hasn't been living up to expectations, but to God be the glory. I believe it was on the 16th or 17th time of asking. Let me just quickly check to be exact. But I'm talking about Samuel Chukwueze. Samuel Chukwueze finally 17th time of asking. Samuel Chukwueze has scored his first Serie A goal for AC Milan. And if you are going to take 17 matches to score your first goal, then your first goal better be a beautiful one. And it was a beautiful one. I'll give him that. Came off the bench, and a nice strike from the edge of the 18-yard box or just outside the 18-yard box. A fantastic goal. I was happy for him. Chukwueze has one of my best celebrations of Nigerian players, where he just lifts his jersey up and is running. I like that celebration a lot. So kudos to him. I'm happy for him because we've talked about him. We've talked about how he needs to step up, and hopefully this can just give him more and more confidence. One thing that I liked though was that his coach came out and offered him more support even after he scored that goal. The same coach that has spoken about him critically a little bit in the past came out and said, hey, this is a young boy coming from another country that is coming to a team that has higher demands than what he's been used to. He needs to adapt to our style of play. He needs to adapt to the league. He needs to adapt to the country. And he said he's just happy that Chukwueze's patience is paying off. And I'm just happy that his coach believes in him, And even though right now he's getting opportunities off the bench, let's be realistic. Christian Pulisic is in very, very, very good form. So they're not going to bench Pulisic. but at least the coach has confidence in Chukwueze. And I don't know if they are still in the Coppa Italia or something, but maybe those kinds of cup matches or things like that. If Chukwueze is able to get some minutes, that's where he needs to really show himself. They have Europa League knockout quarterfinals coming up against Roma as well. If he gets some minutes, that's where he needs to stamp himself, because these are the games that I think would determine if he can become an important player for them or not. But Smith Layi, what did you think of Chukwueze finally getting his first goal in the Serie A for AC Milan?
You know, I was so relieved, because I won't lie to you, when you are not playing well, the supporters in your club, they are losing patience. They don't want to they're not patient anymore. The Super Eagles too, they didn't invite you. It's not because you are not fit, it's because you are not performing well. And you played in the tournament, you didn't do well. That is like, the lowest of the low. And when he scored that goal, I saw it's like it was Tomori's goal. Because the way Tomori have screamed, I was like, that means that, there must be something that maybe has been pointing out to them that this is just going. And I'm really happy. Maybe this one could be the start of a new dawn in his AC Milan career. And I wish him the very best of luck. The goal is a very sweet goal for AC Milan. At least with this one now, and with Pioli still being manager of AC Milan for the next season, I think a good preseason with them, good preseason with them, and less distraction. I think that Samuel Chukwueze will actually will come good for AC Milan. I'm happy for him that at least he got this goal, and he wasn't even invited to, so he can relax this international window, go and recharge himself for the World Cup qualifier in June.
All right. So yeah, there we have it, guys. That is the end of the performance review from Nigerian players this past weekend. Let us know in the comments who impressed you, who you thought could have done better. If there's anybody that we did not talk about, but you feel like the person deserves recognition, feel free to start the conversation in the comments as well. As you always see, I would respond to your comments and engage with you guys, of course. And we have one more thing to talk about before we wrap up this episode. In exciting news, Nike unveiled the new home and away jerseys 2024 versions for the Super Eagles and, of course, the Super Falcons and all the other national teams of Nigeria. The jerseys were interesting and were met with mixed reaction. For the first time in the past 3 years, the home jersey is white, or I'll say primarily white. And the away jersey is a mix of black and green. I know that when Nike launch it and they write everything out, they can say that black is forest green, or they can call it they give it one kind of name. But to the eye, it looks black. It's very interesting. Some people like it, some people don't. Something distinct to note is that on the white jersey, it says Naija on it. Some people have said, oh, they don't like that. Why is it Naija? Why is it not Nigeria? It doesn't have the NFF logo in front, which I thought was something very different and new as well. I'm surprised NFF even agreed to that, because normally, if we know say NFF, they like to be front and center, but it doesn't have the NFF logo on it. It has the eagle from the logo, kind of how would I describe it? Imprinted on the shirt. I mean, by the time you guys are watching this, the jersey will be on the screen, so you obviously see the picture I'm talking about. But yeah, very interesting design. I personally like it. I like the simplicity of it. I like the difference. I'm somebody that I always like to see something different every once in a while. Some people are upset that it's not green. Some people believe that Super Eagles home jersey must always be green. I understand where they are coming from, in all honesty. But still, I'm fine with this one. The only thing that I don't know if I love is the collar. It has a squared collar. which Nike says was inspired by Agbada design from Nigeria.
Mm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what they say inspired the squared collar on the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just interesting to see. I wonder how it will look when players are in motion, running about. I wonder how it will look when I actually have the jersey in my hands. I'm going to buy the
Mm-hmm.
jersey for sure. But yes, overall, I think this jersey is good. I'm looking forward to having it. I'm looking forward to seeing it on the field. And then the away jersey as well, more vibrant pattern, more similar to what
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians would like. Nigerians, if something is not flashy, Nigerians don't usually like it because we like to show ourselves. We like to be seen. It looks eerily similar to.
Yeah.
It looks similar to one of the training jumpers that they made for us in like 2018 though. With the I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I'll say the droplets of water and those strokes. It looks similar to what they did for us in 2018 on the training gear. But still, I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
nice kit. It's something that will look nice. You can wear it casually. You can wear it, of course, for its purpose to play football. And personally, I'm satisfied with the jerseys. I know I've been seeing mixed reactions on social media, but personally, I'm satisfied. Smith Layi, what did you think of the new jerseys unveiled by Nike?
For me, in terms of color, I like that. I think the home jersey. It
Mm,
reminds me of Nigeria jersey in 1988
mm,
that Nigeria took to the Morocco 19. What's it called? 1988 AFCON. So, and we might likely be wearing this again to Morocco next year. So, so it's similar. But my only question mark here is this: Nigeria is Nigeria. It's not Nigeria.
mm,
That is why I just think that they've put Nigeria there. I think the NFF logo too would have to be there. Maybe they can still incorporate that into it. But I think it's in the shots. You can still put it there.
yeah.
So I just think that Nigeria is Nigeria. It's not Nigeria. If it's a training kit now, Nigeria is acceptable. Nigeria is actually what Nigeria. So that is my opinion about it. But I think it's good when we see it, wear it. I think it's going to look good on us. Like you said, too, you are buying. I'm going to actually look for a way to actually buy. Even the two of them, just to But I like the home jersey, just to see how it's going to actually look on us. But I also hope that when we go into the Olympics too, even the ladies can get a new one, or they're
Mm.
not due.
I don't think
We don't know.
I don't think they will do one for the ladies until next World Cup, probably.
And the next one, okay, the next World Cup. So, and the
Mm.
one they did for the ladies was very, very good.
It
So,
was.
but yeah, it was very, very good. But this jersey, should I rate it out of the previous jerseys? I don't think it's one of the best, but I like it.
Mm. Mm. I mean, it's not. We've had that 2018 jersey was fire. We've had some really good
Mm-hmm.
jerseys in the past. It's a very simple design. I like it, but it's nothing. It's not wow, but it's still nice.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I would say is, I personally am not opposed to the Niger instead of Nigeria. I understand why some people are like, yeah, we should have the country's name spelled properly, not a nickname. But I don't know. I personally am like fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand where you people are coming from, Sha. Yeah, me, I'm a young person. You older generation people, you people like like structure, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, some people will say, oh, would they write three lions instead of England, or would they write orange instead of Netherlands? Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But still, we don't have a say in all these things. Nike just design, just give it to us.
Would
Anything we
they go
take.
and write different, just go and I don't want to mention names here because it's going to go like
But
it's
the
not
only thing that I would talk about that I was not impressed with was that for all well, let me say not all, that would be just blasphemous and exaggerating. But for the top nations, they had a star doing the photo
Mm-hmm.
shoots.
Mm-hmm.
With Netherlands, they had Van Dijk. France, they had Mbappe. England, they had Marcus Rashford. They had a real player that
Mm-hmm.
modeled the jersey, wore the jersey, and was part
Mm-hmm.
of the launch. For Nigeria, they went to go and use faceless model. You know, Osimhen is a Nike athlete. Why can't
Mm-hmm.
they call Osimhen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that upsets me a little bit. You know, I feel like they should.
Mm-hmm.
They know how much money they make from Nigeria jerseys. People from
Mm-hmm.
all over the world buy Nigeria jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are doing a campaign, why not include the biggest star from Nigeria in your campaign as well?
The African Player of the Year.
You know, that part I wasn't happy with. I don't know what kind of deal Osimhen has with Nike, but I know he is a Nike athlete. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit disappointing because that's something that on the women's side, I remember I fought for Rashidat to be part of the campaign for the last Women's World
Mm-hmm.
Cup because I felt like it's something that needs to happen and she needs to be a part of. You know, you cannot
Mm-hmm.
not include our players in those kinds of campaigns. Um, but other than that, the jerseys are nice. You know, looking forward to seeing our players play in them.
Yeah.
And of course, you guys in the comment section, let us know what you think about the jerseys. Would you be buying it? Would you not? Are you going to wait for our boys back home to do their magic so you can buy it for 5K or for 10K? Or are you going to splurge and shop from Nike and buy the authentic jersey? No judgments as long as you are supporting
Mm-hmm.
the team. I'm I'm
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the more
Smilayi,
important thing.
anything to add before we end this episode?
No, it's just like people should watch out for our next episode, the preview of the game between Nigeria and Ghana. Don't forget the Jollof Derby, the uh, derby between Nigeria and younger brother. So we are whipping them currently in the All African Games now in the athletics. So don't worry. The Jollof
Yeah.
Derby. Watch out for the preview.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one next episode. But thank you very much, guys, for listening. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for sticking with us through all the episodes of the podcast so far. As always, my name is AyoT, and my co-host is.
Smith Layi. Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.